Mark Golding has got to go. Markie G brings lawlessness, lack of integrity, and poverty to the PNP and Jamaica. He comes to prepare the way for neo-colonial leeches to set. Hello, my people, across Jamaica and all the globe. Skywalker here. I hope you are all doing great. You can fill your glasses, but this is a sober one. We must resist these tyranny attacks. Hear me out if you will, and forgive the fact that I have to be blunt. Serious insults call for serious rebuttals where there is too much to lose. No party should come to Jamaica riding upon the steed of corruption, anarchy, and a poverty mindset for our youths. Unfortunately, people love to hail Michael Manley, who also came from England, where he was born, and many were not there to know by experience the legacy of crime that he himself possessed. Many became sentimental because of his charisma and fluency with affectionate words. The word he said was love. No, many keep silent or hide it under the bushel because of a desire to protect the image of the PNP. I am a survivor of Michael Manley's cultic manipulations, so I know he tried to implement many of Marcus Garvey's ideas from the Heroes Manifesto, which he stole after these white and high-colored Jamaicans managed to gangster Garvey and destroy his project. History will ever cover up the faults of the white man and then turn the black man into a menace to society. Case in point, Mark Golding, the chain man, and his chain gang, including the Integrity Commission and their attack on Andrew Holness. Yet, the media keeps silent, working for a Tapanari's crew. And even now that a judge has to admit that the black prime minister's rights were trampled, the black media takes the white man's side, and now they are back to the drawing board, spinning for their remnants of comrade supporters who were always deprived of intelligence and who will believe. Unfortunately for them, thanks to the JLP, too many of them are reading now, and that's the problem. The serpent that was sent to come and hiss to our nation is stressed, even with the support of wicked patsies in high places. We are fighting a righteous battle, but preachers and grudges are on the devil's side. Didn't Jesus warn us? Mark Golding comes from England with no interest in being a Jamaican and no care about how open and obvious his broadside against our country, our unity, our peace, and our independence comes across. And while Michael Manley could be bad and look good, when you look at Golding, even at the first glance, you see corruption and the devil. He cannot disguise himself. It simply shows. Maybe because it is the age of Aquarius where nothing will stay hidden, Mr. Panther. Michael Manley used a strategy to play on the Jamaican socio-religious superstitious sense, parading as the prophet Joshua, authorized by Haile Selassie, a complete lie. But the people believed. It had its positive effects in his campaign. The subliminal factor was that he had the rod, which is the suggestion of superiority, like a whip. As they say, spare the rod and spoil the child. It would be effective against people. It would be effective against people who had been under the rod. That's the irony. Mind science used for evil is sorcery. By their sorceries, these oppressors will use their serpent wisdom to deceive you. It is science and science, but it seems like magic. Mind science seems like magic sometimes. That's why we say it's sorcery. Who would know what a simple Mark Golding ritual that would seem innocent could do to the masses by subliminal appeal? I I will tell you. A serpent will know. Yeah, that's who will know. The victims would not. They will be screaming for one Markie G and please give Manley national hero status. Notice that black candidates don't do these rituals. You must be able to guess why, right? I, growing up in that PNP home, used to shout and hail Joshua with the rod of correction until I was hoarse. Joshua with the rod of correction. To date, many gray. Many grayback so-called intelligent black men still don't get it because of the esoteric factor. Maybe the white race has been doing these things to our people for ages and only to come out looking like heroes. Mind science used for evil is sorcery, but we don't have our own divine watchers. Michael Manley came to embed chaos that even after he is gone, Britain could use that as a weakness. He had a warped idea of socialism that served colonial purposes, although the colonialists themselves were against it. Scammers in Jamaica serve an imperialist purpose of loading Jamaica with guns and criminals, although the imperialists themselves are against scammers that scam Americans. I hope you get it. Always be careful of the paradoxes that seem like contradiction, or you will be directed the wrong way. If Mark Golding, for example, wanted to turn it up or get wicked pan them, all he would have to do is make subtle moves that favor criminality, but at the same time seem arguable. In Golding's case, he never knows the balance. Just like the IC, he becomes conspicuous, maybe because the Aquarius energy is exposing deceit. There is an Abbott and Costello old flick when they called an Indian chief a stinker. The chief was about to execute judgment, but then they convinced him that stinker meant that he was a great man. Now they became the heroes for cursing the chief. Mind science used for evil is sorcery, and that's what the white men usually get away with. Don't let them get away this time going forward. Markie G screams, "Get wicked pan them!" And he is the same man whose supporters turn up in places where labor rights gather to go up in their faces or block their paths. But the media keeps silent, and Dayton Campbell claims that the irresponsibility is out of love. They are here for anarchy, to keep us poking the wheels of progress. Mark Golding's actions are always to set the criminals at the head and make the youths look up to them. But he claims that the move is to reform and not to malcultivate the mass minds. The media says nothing, but in this age, we already understand that this is adverse mass mindset cultivation. This is not the Stone Age. We can read and research now. Markie G has got to go. Our streets will be red with blood if Markie G is not removed, and Pantan the preacher man already knows this. A lack of integrity keeps him all silent while he illegally attacks a sitting prime minister who actually means well. Treasonous character. In a battle for hearts and minds, when you know the weakness of the people you go against, the greatest weapon is always the little hiss, like a snake. This is why, among many nations of mankind, it is the devil that ends up to be as their gods. He chose this stone and hides his hands, and you ascribe no evil to him. However, in the case of Mark Golding, can't you people see that he is obvious? He doesn't have what it takes to even work discreetly because they are so carried away by farmer successes that now they become complacent. Mark Golding's evil hands are conspicuous. We saw him with the chain, we heard his lies, and we see his associates and hear his threats all day. But none of these are good for Jamaica. So why would we accept it? Shearer grew the economy. Siaga never came from England and he grew the economy too. Now, Holness is growing the economy. This is what those that feel our pains will do all day. Those that came to destabilize will succeed. Those that came to build will succeed. Finsac was a horrible transfer of our wealth, and now it is invested in the Bahamas when Jamaica could have used it. The results usually serves the agenda. The results usually serves the purpose. So now you know the purpose. Black Jamaicans turned against Paul Bogle. The Maroons called him a criminal and brought him to the Mark Golding's people to be hanged. Yes, they brought Paul Bogle to Mark Golding's people to be hanged. Mark Golding's people hung Sam Sharp in Sam Sharp Square, Montego Bay, where Mark's Grandparents kept a lot of slaves down there. The blood of so many Montegonians still cry out. Black Jamaicans turned against Marcus Garvey to help gangster him and derail his plan. They did that so that the white and mulattoes would succeed in ruling instead of a black person. Black Jamaicans turned against Bob Marley, so he had to turn to foreign shores. Black Jamaicans, the media, the grudges, politician brothers and sisters turned against Andrew Holness to gangster and destroy him, while the international world applauds him. They jumped and cheered, watching with glee as Golding does the horrible ritual for subliminal effect. Mark is so entrenched that he cannot hide his meanings and intentions while watching how his adoring Judas fools believe what are they doing it for. What are they doing it for? Jamaica doesn't much better now since Andrew has been the prime minister, even to the degree of being an international example. The Jamaican finance minister was whisked away by the IMF, and now they sent him to save Kenya, which is in the similar problem that Andrew Holness took us out of. They say, please do for us what you did for Jamaica. Yet the media lies on Andrew Holness, or they spin and hide the truth. The finance minister is gone, but Andrew still finds a genius woman in his deck to continue the work. Why? Because when your purpose is your passion, your achievements will tell what you are there for. Do you ever see Camilla Johnson Smith on her international mission and feel the pride of having such class representing your country? Who would the PNP send? Lisa Hanna can't do everything. She is all they have, and they still don't have her. So dear. Mark Golding achieved a large portion of Jamaica's money and left many black people broke and broken-hearted. Some hanged themselves, my people. What is Golding back here for? Is it to achieve his purpose again? But don't ask the media and the prophets, men of integrity. These Judas tell the people that SHIT spells sugar all day. They believe because Mark Golding says so and he is white. Just because Markie G, the author of the book of He Lies, says so doesn't mean it's true. This is obvious, judging by his title. My peeps, if Golding's purpose will take down Jamaica, but make Golding rich, we can understand why he will work so hard to achieve it. However, here is the big question. If Jamaica will go to the dogs under a Markie G administration, which Golding already makes obvious by his choice of anarchy, why are the black traitors so zealous to see him win? It cannot be because of love for the country, can it? Those that will destroy their own for personal gains bring the office of the super traitor to even a low. Mark Golding has openly declared, even by his actions, his preference for criminals and criminality, his disdain for women and gender biases, because he does not show the justice deserved to them. Even in traumatic situations, many women will say that he would defend a man for killing a woman. If they have any evidence of such behavior, it would support the words of his ancestors, the Hyksos, that said, to kill a woman, you do not have to worry because it is not a sin. But do they have evidence that Golding would do that? His ancestors believed that women were only possessions. Even if a man died and left a 6-year-old son, the boy would now own his mother and she would have to obey him. Even if a man sexually assaulted or impregnated a minor, they thought that you would not have to worry. He would just pay money and own her. This is not good in modern Jamaica. Some cultures are harmful cultures, and people that draw personalities from these cultures become a threat to the society. For example, if you are a white man holding whip or chain to a black man, where would you believe you got that culture from? If you are a white man holding whip or chain to a black man, where do you believe you got that culture from? Don't ask the media and don't ask your men and women of integrity. Mark Golding's people had slaves in Montego Bay. I propose this solution to you, my people. This goes way beyond politics. Markie G has got to go. I said, Markie G has got to go. If he formed an attitude from that bloodline of a brutal, chauvinistic, and racist tradition, then we don't want it here. Or we better not. Mark Golding's ancestors believed that food gets poisoned if a black man simply looks at it. I said that Mark Golding's ancestors believed that food gets poisoned if a black man simply looks at it. Peeps. Many people in Montego Bay were born from slaves of his grandparents' plantations. Andrew Holness never owned a slave and never put a chain around the neck of anyone, black or white, Chinese or Indians. And he never would, because black people don't do that crap. We don't do it, but we must protect ourselves from people who do. Marky G has got to go. Why? Because we are coming from a place of vicious trauma where Mark Golding's people took our ancestors captive and get wicked upon them. No, Mark is here doing rituals to remind us, and Mark has a chain, peeps, because we are pushing forward to freedom, even now still struggling forward, and because we found a loophole, because our government is making progress, because we don't believe the naysayers, grudges, and media judges who think we are too black to lead on our own, our traitors saying that Andrew's nose looks too much like our ancestors. Think on these things, my people. Peace out.